Welcome into Boston Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie, Barefoot, and it was a tough loss last night for the Celtics, losing to the Indiana Pacers 133-134. It was a nail-biter. However, no Jayson Tatum last night, nor Sam Hauser, and Tyrese Halliburton left in the second quarter after he did the unfortunate splits and left with a hamstring injury. We do hope he's okay, but nonetheless, the C's did not have the second half that they were supposed to have and ultimately couldn't bounce back after digging themselves out of a hole yet again. But on today's show, we are going to answer some of your questions about the Boston Celtics in this version of the Mailbag, as the Boston Celtics are still atop of the Eastern Conference, but have a lot of competition to face this month. So we're going to kick it off with a real one here on Chat Sports. Duncan sending in the first question here saying, #Celtics. I've been hearing a lot of word about the Bucks as the best team in the East, which is a fat-out lie. They're about to lose 3 of their last 4. I digress. Ranked top 5 title contenders playoffs today. Well, if I'm going to go on ahead and pull up the Eastern Conference right now, I do know the Celtics are on first. I know the Bucks, are directly behind them. Celtics after last night's loss are 28-7. Milwaukee Bucks are 25-11. So if I had to pick some of the playoff contenders right now, I do think the Oklahoma City Thunder is going to be a tough team to beat for anybody in the playoffs. I do think the Bucks can potentially be in there. There is still a month to go before the NBA trade deadline, so it's hard to rank the top 5 not knowing where players are going to end up. So if I had to say the top 3 teams, I'm going to go with the Boston Celtics, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Denver Nuggets. I think those are 3 very scary teams for both conferences. But overall, the Celtics are still top contenders, despite losing to teams that I do think they are better than. Nonetheless, thank you so much for the question, Duncan. Heading on over to another loyal fan here on Celtics Today. #Celtics from Noah Rubin saying, who's the number 1 player you think the Celtics should try to trade for? Unfortunately, I do think Pascal Siakam is going to be too much money for the Celtics to acquire. I think that most win-now talent is going to be a little bit too expensive considering we do pay 6 starters technically for the Boston Celtics. So I think Andre Drummond would be great to trade for. I think Kelly Olynyk would be great to trade for. I think anybody like a John Conchar, somebody that's not that expensive. I will tell you one player that I have been interested in. We still have a $6.2 million trade player exception from the Grant Williams trade. Jonathan Kuminga's salary is $6.2 million. I think that's a wing from the Warriors that could really benefit the Celtics right now, but it's not up to me. It's up to Brad Stevens, but that'd be a player I would look out for if I am a Celtics fan. Nonetheless, I want you guys to name someone the Celtics should trade for. It can be somebody that is a current starter. It can be somebody off somebody's bench. Just go on ahead and let me know as the NBA trade deadline is on February 8th. I want to hear from you guys. Name a player you want the Boston Celtics to trade for down below in the comments. A real one here, Sports Edits and Gaming saying #Celtics. Do you think we made the right choice of keeping Jaylen Brown when we had the opinion to trade him for Trae Young or someone else? I do like Jaylen Brown. Do I think his salary is a bit much? Yes, I do. I will admit that. I think there are some nights that I don't agree with that salary. But nonetheless, I think Jaylen Brown is a fantastic player. He dropped 40 points last night against the Pacers. He dropped 31 points against the Pacers over the weekend. I think while he is not showing the most consistent level of play this season, I do think Jaylen Brown is a fantastic player for the Boston Celtics, and I love the duo of JB and JT, and now the trio, including KP. Great question, though, Sports Edit and Gaming. KW sending in a question here. My main man, KW, saying #Celtics. Is JT getting downplayed in the MVP conversation because he's playing power forward? I do know that the Celtics do have a very stacked starting 5, potentially starting 6 if you want to include Al Horford in there. And that may take some of the limelight away from Jayson Tatum. He said that in an interview earlier this season, saying, my role has changed because of the type of talent we have here. I think Jayson Tatum should at least be in the top 5 MVP conversation in the voting for this season. There's still a lot of basketball to play, and of course you do have the Jokic, the Giannis, the Embiids of the world that are still always going to be in that conversation. I don't think JT is being downplayed. I just think he needs to keep playing hard. Thank you for your question, though, KW. Not Wafferin. Send it in the next one here for us saying, if we do sign somebody or trade somebody, how drastic would the change be for the Seas? I think that depends on who the trade is. I think if you were to get Andre Drummond and trade away somebody like a Luke Cornett or some kind of bench player, I don't think that elevates you that much. I think right now the Boston Celtics have one of the toughest lineups in NBA right now. So I think any trade could be a good or bad drastic change for sure. But once again, Brad Stevens has that choice to make until February 8th to see if they're going to pick somebody up this season or wait until the offseason. But I do want to take one break before we head on to our next question and talk to you guys about Prize Picks. This is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I play it every single game day for professional and collegiate matchups. Why? Because all you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. It's that easy. I want you guys to go ahead and go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100 so that you can watch yourself win some real money in real time. A very loyal fan here on Chat Sports is Maya's World saying, #Celtics, what about Andre Drummond to the Boston Celtics for Luke Cornett and probably a first-round pick? Maya, you read my mind. I think Andre Drummond would be a perfect fit for the Boston Celtics. Why? Because Kristaps Porzingis has injury. And then Al Horford does have to rest because he's 37 years old. I think Andre Drummond would be a fantastic backup center for the Boston Celtics. You guys know how I feel about Luke Cornett. He is elevating his play just slightly, but overall, I think Andre Drummond would physically beef up the bench just a little bit. So, should the Celtics trade for Andre Drummond? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm a yes. The Bulls have outwardly said they would like to rebuild. I think Luke Cornett is a younger center that could help them. He's 28. He's not the youngest center out there, but I think that this would be a good trade for the Chicago Bulls and Boston Celtics to make. But type Y for yes, type N for no. Jordan the GOAT plays saying, should the Celtics try to bring in Clint Capela? It might be too much money, unfortunately. However, the Atlanta Hawks did say that they are open to talking about trades with any of their players, except for Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. Could Clint possibly be in there? Probably not, in my opinion, for the Boston Celtics because we pay so much money for our starting five. Clint is a starter for the Atlanta Hawks right now. Would he be great? Yes. But do we need another starting center? Not in my opinion, no. You got KP, you got Al Horford. You need more of a backup center like an Andre Drummond. Somebody of that sort. To Kelly Olynyk, if you will. Maybe not Clint, but it would be awesome to have him on the Celtics. Don't get me wrong, he's a great basketball player. But nonetheless, Brad Stevens, the choice is up to you. While you guys are here, I want you guys to go ahead and hit that sub button for me. We put out 5 videos weekly telling you guys about breaking news, trade rumors, Boston Celtics news, anything you need to know about the Boston Celtics, you're going to find right here at Celtics Today. So all you guys have to do to be in the know is hit that sub button for me.